R&B diva Tyler Collins is up next. Let's talk. What's up? And welcome back over here to Pepe's Point of View. I'm yours truly, Pepe, and that's right. Let's dive right into R&B diva Tyler Collins. Listen, you guys, I forgot about her. I literally forgot about Tyler Collins. So, excuse me, today, out and about doing some things, and I have no idea why her song, Girls Night Out, just popped in my head. It just out of nowhere. And I said, man, I was like, okay, let me talk about Tyler Collins, all right? And I'm thinking, number one, that she just had out that one album. It looks as if she, did have a follow-up album, okay? But I've never heard her entire album. The Girls Night Out was like a big song back in the day. It was a big song back in the day. Very popular song. And the other song, What You Gonna Do? I knew those two singles for sure. And so I said, you know what, when I get to the house, I'm gonna, see if I can look her up and, look up the CD, Anyway, long story short story long, I dived right into it. Ooh, we need to talk. We got to talk, seriously. I'm interested in knowing, DT, if you're watching this one, this is the one out of all R&B divas. This is the one I don't know if you're familiar with, but I want to know your thoughts about this one. I do. Because, listen, over here, we kind of talk about, R&B divas now, and it looks as if, there's some, dialogue going on about why some R&B divas just did not cross over, if you will. They didn't cross over, and found it to be difficult, in their careers, so on and so forth. Even though they did have success on the R&B charts, it just seems as if let some executives and other people, talk about it, hey, that wasn't good enough. You understand what I'm saying? And it also looks as if there was a trend too that was going on. I guess you could say around, I don't know, between 1988 and 1990, maybe 1991. And that is some R&B divas who release music, especially, well, no, let's just say some of them. It looks like they had a strong first release. For the single looked like it was a strong release. It probably did well on the R&B charts. And what I mean by that, maybe entered into the top 10 or the top 5 on the R&B charts. And then their second single probably didn't do too well. Like it was probably top 40 on the R&B charts, top 30 on the R&B charts. And then you just didn't hear from them again. Okay. What the case would be like Deatra Hicks. Big song, Sweet Talk. You make me want to give it up, not so much, right? Another one, Sherlyn. What's the name of that song, Sherlyn? Every time I try to say goodbye, a big R&B hit for her. Then she releases Whatever It Takes. Not so much a big hit for her. And it looks like that's kind of like the trend that was happening for certain R&B divas back then. And it looks as if Tyler Collins fell into that same, category. But let me tell y'all something. All right. I have to say this. I am shocked after listening to Tyler Collins' album. I'm saying to myself, like, why didn't she cross over? Really? She didn't cross over. She had a huge hit again with the song Girls Night Out, which is the title of the album. And the album came out in 1990, right? I hope I'm right. Yeah, 1989, 1990. Let's just go when 1989 was the first song, right? Girls Night Out, 1989. Let's just go with that, okay? And then she released more singles in, going into 1990. Anyway, long story short, short story long. Here is what I'm thinking about Tyler Collins. Now, DT, if you're in the comment, if you're watching this, I'm here to tell you, I really want to know this. When I listen to Tyler Collins' album, like right now, my first time ever listening to it, even though I heard the two singles and loved both singles, here's what I'm trying to get to. I was like, oh my gosh. Do y'all not know who she sounds like? I didn't even read. These albums that I listen to, I don't even read any reviews on them. I don't. So if there's a review out there that hits this on the head just like I have, then I'm going to say I'm right on the money. Tyler Collins, listening to her album. That's why I'm saying, why didn't she cross over? Guess who she sounds like? Paula Abdul. This is Paula Abdul. She's on RCA Records. And I am saying, like, this seems like this young lady at this time, and I'm just listening to music. I'm not even thinking about this at the time. She is definitely giving me Paula Abdul, Jody Watley, Expose, Gloria Estefan. Ooh, but maybe a little bit of Sheena Easton. I'm talking about, listen to me, follow me, production. We're going to talk about this album and these singles on this album, the tracks on this album. That's what she's giving. And that's why I'm saying, how is it that she didn't cross over? All right, you guys ready? Let's talk. Okay, let's talk. When I first heard the album, the first song, and if I heard it in the correct order, the first single or first track on the album is called Strut. Okay? And of course, Strut, I'm thinking, who? Sheena Easton. So I'm like, oh, okay. I started listening to the song intently, like intentionally, listen to the song. And I'm saying, I'm trying to figure out something about this single, this track, Strut, is making me, I'm like, she's trying to sound like a particular R&B diva. Who is she sounding like? And then I say, Karen White. I'm like, is this Karen White? Then I'm saying, is this, no, I'm saying this is Paula Abdul. This is Paula Abdul. Then as I'm listening to it, I'm like, wait a minute, Karen White, yeah, a little bit. Paula Abdul, yeah, a little bit. And then I'm listening to the production and everything is just going on in my head at the time. I was like, okay. Jam and Lewis. This is a Jam and Lewis track. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. But they didn't produce the track. But this gives me Jam and Lewis. Definitely. So for me, this first single is a bit of Karen White, maybe Paula Abdul, Jam and Lewis type vibe. Strut. Okay. It's funky enough to get you going, but then it's kind of like, it's almost like I can't get into it because it's a tad bit too cheesy. And you're listening to her and you're saying, yeah, you really trying to do this pop thing. You are really like, this is pop. This is pop. I was like, but I'm convinced. I'm liking it. I just don't think this track works for her. But I'm like, I can see her being one of those, what do you call them back in the day? I guess one of those bubblegum type, artists, I was like, she's definitely giving me this. All right. So then I go to, of course, the second track, Girls Night Out. And as I said before, it was the jam back in the day. And looked like there's some girl power on this track because there's a female producer by the name of Sherry Byers. I don't know anything about her. I tried to look her up to see who she is or what have you, but I couldn't really find anything on her. And like, as I said, I don't go around in people's trash. So, and what I mean trash is not that serious. Like if I type you in and I can't see anything, I just keep moving, for the most part. So I was like, okay, I'm liking this, again, it's taking me back down memory lane, with Girls Night Out. And then I listened to What You Gonna Do. And I'm like, oh man, I remember this. And then I happened to listen to What You Gonna Do, like I'm listening to it. I'm like, what you gonna do? Do you know who this sounds like? Jody Watley. I was like, Jody Watley would eat this song up. Yeah, Jody Watley would definitely eat this song up. What you gonna do? It sounds like something Jody Watley would do. Then the next track, Love Talk. Yeah, I didn't care too much for Love Talk. I didn't. It's just what it is. So right now, of course, my favorite songs on the album, Girls Night Out and What You Gonna Do. Then I get to track 5, Give and Take. It's a slow song. And I'm like, oh my gosh. This is when this pop crossover type thing is coming into my head heavily. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, wait, just hold up for a bit. You just got to hold up a smidge, Like, what's going on here? And what's going on? Like, why is this young lady, why didn't she cross over? And I'm listening to this song Give and Take, which is not R&B enough for me, but y'all know, you have to understand who I am when it comes to divas. I'm talking about R&B divas, but don't get it twisted. Y'all done seen that I have Belinda Carlisle over here. Y'all know I love me some Stevie Nicks. I love some Sheena Easton. You understand what I'm saying? Carly Simon. Do you give up Jody Messina? Do you understand where I'm going? So when I was listening to this song, Give and Take, I was like, oh man, I'm thinking about all of the divas, period, in pop, who would definitely eat this song up, Give and Take. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if Taylor Dayne had this track, this song, Taylor Dayne would just eat it up. Oh yeah, Taylor Dayne would eat this song up, Give and Take. Okay. So I'm thinking Taylor Dayne, I'm thinking Expose, I'm thinking Debbie Gibson. It gives me that Debbie Gibson foolish beat type vibe. It's giving me Jody Watley everything. That song You Are My Everything. It's giving me that. It's giving me Pebbles. It's giving me Belinda Carlisle. Like Give and Take. This to me is the lane that Tyler Collins is definitely in. Okay. She's in this category of divas, okay? R&B divas, pop divas. She's definitely there. I am convinced. You're going to have to convince me otherwise because Tyler Collins is definitely the R&B diva in this particular category. Then I hear the next track, I Only Wanted. And again, this is the track that I think Taylor Dayne would eat up. Give and Take, I'm thinking Expose, Debbie Gibson, Jody Watley, Pebbles, and Belinda Carlisle. But with I Only Wanted, I'm definitely thinking Taylor Dane. Taylor Dane, for this track, she would eat up I Only Wanted. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is definitely Taylor Dane. Then the next song, the next track, Second Chance. I like it. And it even made it into the pop, on the pop charts, barely missing the top of 40 on the pop charts. Okay. And that's why I'm like, baby, I'm just digging her, right? I am so loving Tyler Collins. Okay. And then who else? Then the next track, track 8, Beyond a Shadow of a Doubt. This is when I say, Beyond a Shadow of a Doubt is Gloria Estefan in the Miami Sound Machine. I think the song is called, I could have my titles mixed up, but Beyond a Shadow of a Doubt sound like Gloria Estefan, Miami Sound Machine. Words gets in the way. I'll do anything for you. Like Gloria Estefan would eat Beyond a Shadow of a Doubt up. She would. Like it's just a no-brainer. Okay. And then the last 2 tracks, looks like there are 2 songs produced by Stevie Wonder, and I don't know how they managed to pull that off, but they did. And guess what? I don't like them, and I'm gonna move on from that. Like, I'm not feeling the last 2 songs on the album. I was pleasantly surprised to know that these are Stevie Wonder songs, and I'm like, they're not working. But it is what it is. I'm sure some people out there do like them. It's just not me. I don't like them. So that's pretty much it for Tyler Collins. You know, as far as my reviewing the album, I am so I'm glad that I actually got the opportunity now to listen to the entire album. Tyler Collins, I liked her from the very beginning with those 2 songs, Girls Night Out and What You're Gonna Do. I'm convinced she's definitely will be an R&B diva I talk about. And I would say she is one of those R&B divas who definitely was worthy of having pop success. Why it didn't happen, I don't know. The only thing in my head that I can think of is that it's so watered down pop. And when I say watered down pop, okay, we're gonna talk. We know she's an African-American female, Black female. But sometimes I don't know in these particular categories. Like, I'm not quite sure how she was viewed at the time she came out when it came to, you know, the industry and the record and then being in the marketplace. Like, for me, I enjoyed her, you know, listening to her music. I never once looked at her and thought she was like bubblegum, you know, kind of a singer. I never thought about her that way. Listening to the album now, I'm like, okay, yeah. And when I mean okay, here's an example. I hate saying this way. Oh gosh, I'm gonna say it this way. It was almost kind of like when New Kids on the Block came out and we heard the song "Please Don't Go, Girl." Like, you know, name me line. I know people around me was like, those white boys can sing, you know. And the song was pop, but at the same time it was soulful. I think I answered my question. That's what it is, you guys. Somehow or another, they got the pop right with Tyler Collins. They just didn't get the soulful part of her. And I think that that's what was missing for her. Because obviously, again, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, you know, with the song, her two songs. You know, you have Girls Night Out, which went to number 6 on the pop charts. Second Chance was hovered around the barely missing the top 40 on the pop charts. So it was definitely there. Success was definitely there for her on the pop charts. I just feel like she wasn't soulful enough to stay there, right? I know that doesn't sound like it makes sense because you're saying soulful, but you're putting it on the pop charts. Well, if you think about it, a lot of people criticize Whitney Houston because they said, well, she didn't sound black. But some artists are soulful enough that they can do both at the same time. Do you see? It's kind of like Taylor Dayne. Taylor Dayne, being a white female, right, or excuse me, or Caucasian female, like she can do the pop, but she's so soulful that she identifies with both. I'm talking about just her voice alone. Same thing with Tina Marie, you see? And I think that that's kind of like what was missing for Tyler Collins. That's just my opinion. It could have been a lot of other things. But anyway, it is what it is. Very, very, very a talent that we should have continued to see, you know, in the business. I don't know, maybe too, it's 1989, it's 1990. The direction of things were changing. So maybe if she had came out, you know, maybe a year or two prior, maybe we would be talking about her in a different, you know, kind of way. Who knows? But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in over here. And if you reach this point of my commentary, then I would just think that it would be okay and appropriate for me to say, hey, hang out with me. You know what I'm saying? Hit the subscribe button. There's a lot of R&B divas to discuss. There's a lot of music out there, you know. So let's just sit back, relax, and enjoy this ride because it's going to be what? Fun. I promise you that. Anywho, well, whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. And also, don't forget to love yourself, all right? And I am so looking forward to seeing you next video. And until then, you guys know what to do out there. Take care of yourself. All right now.